I have in the past toyed around with 4 to 6 ounces of liquid tussin, robo, etc. with and without guaifenesin, sp. My experiences were interesting and fun, but nothing as moving as taking 2 boxes of 10 Drixoral cough caps. Last Friday, I decided to go for broke and take 2 boxes. I started my journey about 8 p.m. Finished the pills in a span of about 30 minutes. About 30 to 45 minutes later, I started feeling the familiar effects of drowsiness. I decided that it would be best to get out and do something before I fell asleep and wasted my time. It was about 9 o'clock, so I went to my favorite alternative club where there was an awesome, Mind Candy band called Mind's Eye playing. There weren't more than 20 people in the club including the 2 bands that were playing. I just kicked back in a booth, closed my eyes, and went on an internal trip that lasted at least 45 minutes, although it felt like hours. I had a sensation of moving into a higher realm of thought. I was so focused on the music that it became a part of my consciousness and my being. Opening my eyes just became a letdown because it reminded me that I was in reality. Closing parenthesis. So I just closed them again and enjoyed the phosphenes that were running rampant through my brain. The only part one didn't like was the feeling of being in a Doom game without the monsters. I felt like I was running through the corridors and riding the elevators. Oh, well, nobody promised that it would be completely enjoyable. Anyway, after the set, I went to the bar to order a Miller Lite. The barkeep said that they didn't have Miller Lite. I asked for Coors Light. He said he didn't have Coors Light. Blank stare with severely dilated pupils. What light beers do you have? Light. Light? Light. Let me have that. Then, $1.50. Hey, great price, I thought. It was Miller Lite. Oh, well. It felt like I was arguing for 30 minutes. God, I hate interacting with people in that condition. I staggered back to my booth, at least it felt like staggering. It felt really weird to walk, and sipped my beer while watching the band take down their equipment. They looked like a bunch of worker bees from my perspective, and as was really interesting to watch. Drinking was an unusual experience, too. It was like the first time I had ever drunk anything. All my movements were very slow, methodical, and calculated. After I finished my beer, I went down to a techno club I had been meaning to visit. It was about midnight. I know that this is a big lapse in time. I guess I wasted 2.5 hours in that bar listening to the jukebox and watching the band. It was only 4 blocks, but the way my legs were moving, it felt like I was walking stiff-legged the whole way. Fortunately, it was a slow night on my city's version of Bourbon Street, and I only passed about 5 people on the way. The doorman was the next big hurdle. Actually, I managed to keep myself fairly composed. He warned me that it was kinda slow, and I went into a repeat of the beer discussion. Slow? Slow. Okay. Trying to avoid giving myself away, even though my pupils filled my eyeballs. I handed him the $2 he asked for and walked in. I found an empty couch and plopped down. It was heavily padded and had a low back. Perfect for slouching. The DJ was playing a fantastic mix of techno and classic rock. As the night wore on, she was playing almost constant techno. They have a light show that is really something to be seen. The dance floor is surrounded by mirrors that reflect the blue lights from the bar and make it look like a cityscape from the year 2020. Very impressive in my condition. The only times I got up were to go to the John twice and to the bar once for water. Walking got stranger and stranger. I think I was having trouble keeping my balance, but I don't remember staggering. The worst part was the feeling that I was choking on my uvula. My mouth felt dry, and water wasn't helping. It must have been the anesthetic effects of DXM. I stayed there for 2 hours in the same spot, only moving the 3 times I mentioned. I was still not bored, but I figured that since it was 2 a.m., it was about time to get home. This may have been a mistake. The streetlights had started tracing, and the blinking lights were playing hell on my perception. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have driven home, but I was broke, so a cab was out of the question, and there was no way I could have sobered up. I didn't feel drunk. It just felt like all my surroundings were foreign. I paid extra close attention to my driving, but still nearly jumped out of my skin at the sight of police. I got home in one piece and fell asleep to the mellow sounds of Pink Floyd's Uma Guma Disc 2. I woke up around 9:30 a.m., fully alert. Checked my eyes. Fully dilated. Made an excuse to get out of the house, wearing shades. Went to see a movie with a friend, which was pretty fun. I was still feeling a bit weird. The dark theater helped me relax. Got out of the movie and went home. My eyes were normal by this time, although I still felt a little strange. That feeling lasted until about 7 p.m. So the brunt of the trip lasted about 12 hours and the after effects lasted another 11. Well, will I try this again? Yes. Would I suggest that somebody else try this? Yes. What will I do next time? Take 3 boxes and drink more beer. I heard it is very synergistic. I did not see the colored blobs that people refer to, unless the light show was this effect, and I just didn't notice. Anyway, I had no nausea or other ill effects. I have sworn off the liquid stuff, because it's too hard to get down.